All right, welcome everybody. It is Tuesday night. It's 9:00. It's time for another Get Off My Lawn podcast. I am John Anderson. I will be hosting this thing, which is it's not really new since it's my show. I've been hosting this thing every time that we've had it. So if you're new to the podcast and this is your first time seeing us, then welcome. We've got some new people coming all the time, and we love that. I love seeing this grow. Growth has been slow, but that means it's been honest. That means that we haven't had any bots or anything like that invading our membership. So that's been awesome. Let's see here. We'll give everybody just a little bit of time to get the notifications and get logged in here. We do want to mention, if you are watching this on the replay, then you still are able to comment down below. That way we can still find out what you think. You're always welcome to add your opinion. Viewpoints are always welcome, even if they oppose everything that I'm saying or somebody else here in the panel is saying. We definitely love hearing other points of view. And I should say I love that. Not everybody does, but I think it's awesome. I think it's great to have my beliefs and my thoughts challenged, because I don't really know what I think always until somebody has challenged it. And maybe I'll change my mind because they gave me something else to think about or a different perspective. And maybe I won't, but either way, it was healthy for me. So feel free to always think for yourself, always think critically, always challenge what you get told. And that way, you know for sure if you can prove it or not. So, all right. Looks like we've got a few people coming through here over on the YouTube side. We've got Grim out there, was hanging out before we got here tonight. What's up, Grim? Of course, my beautiful bride, Sandhills sweetheart, is in the chat on YouTube and Facebook. And she's over here in the producer's chair. Good to have her back with us this week. It's lonely, even though I've got people out there listening and people on the panel. It's lonely when she's not in here with me. So very, very cool to have her back. She's feeling a lot better, a lot more energized this week than she was last week. Who else is out there on the YouTube side? We've got Vanessa, we've got Pat and Defense Dad out there and in here. G23's in the house. Richard is also out there. So it's becoming a kind of a Hirsch chat. That's all right though. Over on the Facebook side, we've got Larry out there. We've got, of course, Sandhills. Well, it says Sandhills Shooter, but I think she's got it switched over where she's going to be commenting as herself. Okay, well, if you see me commenting in the live chat, it's not me. It's actually Sandhills Sweetheart. Her computer just doesn't want her to log in as herself, so that's her. Let's see who else is out there. John Petrolito's out there in the house. Marsha's in the house. So more people coming in all the time. Feel free while I'm doing the intro here to go ahead and hit that share button. Share this with anybody you want to, and get them to come watch too. The more the merrier. Makes it a lot more fun for all of us. So all right, let's see here. A couple things that I want to go over before we go too far here. Again, if you're watching this live, then leave those comments, say hello to us so we can say hello back, especially on YouTube, because if you're not commenting, then we can't see you. We don't know you're there. And if that's your plan, that's fine. I mean, you totally can just watch silently and be anonymous, and that's all right too. We still appreciate those thumbs up and those shares, though. Heck, thumbs down. I don't care. Just interact with it. Comments are great. All the comments, all the thumbs up or down, all the shares. Clicking that notification bell so you know every time we go live every every Tuesday night. All that stuff. Let's YouTube know and Facebook know that you care about us. So if you hear a squeak in the background, that's just my knees. I'm getting old. No, that's the dog playing with its squeaky toy. It's quieter to have the squeaky toys than it is to listen to her crying when we kennel her down the hall. So all right. So let's see here. Anything that you want to, if anybody wants to get a hold of us after the fact, you can sure catch us on Facebook and direct message us. You can email us at sandhillsshooter@gmail.com. That is scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. So you can catch that right there. Next up, couple things that we like to mention all the time. We are part of the Self-Defense Radio Network now, and so you can catch every episode of the Get Off My Lawn podcast over there at selfdefenseradio.net or sdrn.us. Both of those links will get you over to the Self-Defense Radio Network. And I feel like I always say this, but I feel like I'm standing among giants when I go to that page and see all the awesome pro gun podcasts that are listed on there. And then I see my logo just listed right there among them. And I don't feel like I belong there, but I'm very, very, very blessed to have been included in the Self-Defense Radio Network. So go check that out. You can catch us just about everywhere now where you can find podcasts. All the major platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio now, Anchor. You can catch all those. You can go find us. Either search Sandhills Shooter or search Get Off My Lawn Podcast. Make sure you say it that way. I've been told, apparently, there's something else called Get Off My Lawn that's out there. And people think that I'm trying to rip that off. Clearly, with my less than 2,000 subs, that's not the case. I don't think anybody can mix this up. Didn't even know who that was until after I started doing this, after I picked the name. Those of you that have been with me the whole time, you understand. I've been saying Get Off My Lawn. Been a grumpy old man for a lot longer than we've called this the Get Off My Lawn podcast. So I apologize to no one, and I don't even take the time to explain it to them because, number one, they won't believe me. Number two, I don't really care. I don't care what they think. So if any of those people ever tell the guy that has the other Get Off My Lawn show that I'm here and he gets mad and he actually ever knows who I am, we'll have that conversation. He doesn't know. He doesn't know who I am, and I'm not. I'm not even a blip on his radar. So who cares? G23 wants to know about Pandora. No, I have yet to figure out how to get it to Pandora. I need to do a lot more of digging and see if there's a way to get it there. But I mean, if Pandora is your thing, I guess cool. But you can go to anchor.fm/Sandhills-shooter and just listen to it there. You're listening to it here, so I mean, you know, if you want to catch it again on Pandora, on audio version on any of those other podcast platforms, I guess you can too. You can share those or do whatever you want. But it is kind of interesting to see how that grows a little bit too. So mostly I did the audio thing just so that I could be included in Self-Defense Radio Network. All right. Real quick here before we dig into stuff. Also, you can see the very cool hat that Pat is rocking, and you can see the new one that has come in. The Her Fight is My Fight green ribbon hats are also up there on the website. Go to blackswantactical.com, look up the Team Sandhills collection. Just go to collections and scroll to Team Sandhills and then see all the cool stuff. You can get all kinds of things to support Sandhills' sweetheart in her battle against lymphoma. Again, I've mentioned this a few times. This is not the same lymphoma that's back. It's actually related but different. This one they're going to cure. So one more chemo treatment, and then we'll do a scan to make sure that the chemo is working. And if everything is working the way that they expect, then we'll be heading off for a stem cell transplant. And that'll take about 3 weeks of being confined to her hospital room because she won't have an immune system. It just kind of hits the reset button and reboots the immune system the way I understand it. We're not really sure exactly what it all entails. We're going to find out together as we go through it. So we appreciate all of the support, all of the love, all of the emails that I keep seeing when people have ordered off the website over there and got their hat or their t-shirt, their hoodie, their coffee cup, whatever it is. There's 2 different designs. You can get the Her Fight is My Fight. You can also get one that says Not Today Cancer. Go check those out and go get your stuff. Go right now if you could multitask. Otherwise, do it as soon as we log off. But no, we really, really appreciate all of the support. So, all right, real quick here, let's just say hello to Hi Liberty. Puppy wants to say hi. She wants to eat my hand again. Here, why don't you take that? Go eat that non-rawhide bone or chew bone. All right. So let's just say hi to the people that we have on the panel. I'm expecting at least one more guest, but I think he loses track of time and or time zones, so we'll see how long it takes him to show up here. But first and foremost, we've got kind of a all Nebraska All-Stars panel tonight. We've got Pat coming in from South Central Nebraska. What were you rocking on in the shorts and the sandals, I think you said today, weren't you?
Yeah, I got up to about 65, 66 degrees when just a very short time ago we were at minus 32.1. So, yeah, I was actually boiling today versus what we had been going through.
That's almost 100-degree difference within about a
Yeah.
week. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's been nuts. It's Mother Nature is definitely
it's you and your cows and your farting cows. It's all your fault, Pat.
Yes, it's a dang methane. It's I know the Greenpeace and everybody's been telling me you just gas from those cows will just ruin the environment.
I just can't wait until Greta Thunberg comes to your house and knocks on your door and says that you have stolen her childhood and all of the heat in Texas. So they're doing better.
How dare you?
They're doing better now. I've seen some posts. They're warming back up finally in Texas. They've thawed out. So
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Gosh, it got cold enough to actually snow down there, which is it's Snowmageddon. Snowvid. That's what Chad Prince called it. Snowvid 21.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
So, but all right, glad to have you with us tonight, Pat. Also, coming to us live from the capital city of Nebraska, Defense Dad. You sure you're not watching TV tonight?
I'm not. It's still in the box.
Okay. All right. He was crowing earlier on a text that he got a great deal on a huge TV, bigger than I can even fit in the room. So I don't have a ceiling tall enough to hang one of those on a wall. Not that size. But I don't have a wall that I can hang one on very well anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Not in my living room. But glad you're here tonight. You have a really cool video that just dropped, and it's all about the top 5 things that what is it, 2A people shouldn't do or gun people shouldn't do?
It's top 5 things I think gun owners should stop saying and doing.
Okay, there you go.
And I have a little bit of fun with it, so
it's awesome. If anybody has a link to that, and we can throw that out there in the chat, we need to get that posted up there. You need to go watch that, but not right now. You got to wait till we're done.
Yeah.
So, all right. And then one last thing that we want to mention here. In fact, I always forget to do this, and I keep forgetting to add this over to the banner that I do too. So, oops, hold on. Here, I gotta dig through my phone. All right, here we go. So tonight we're coming to you live on YouTube and Facebook both, thanks to Open Country Firearms in Osmond, Nebraska. And you can go up there. You can get, sometimes now anyway, you can get new firearms. Garrett still does a lot of trade in used firearms as well. When he gets ammo, it doesn't last long, but he's very good at announcing that he's got some. And usually before the afternoon is over, he's got none again, because there are so many people that are trying to keep up and find ammo and watching his social media as well. But if you're in Northeast Nebraska, even if you're not, and there's something you're looking for, you should talk to him and see what he's got going on. He might not respond quite as quickly right now. It is his busy season of the year. Having a gun store is not actually his first job. That's his side gig. He's a crop insurance adjuster by day, and it's the time of year where he's busy. So bear with him. If you give him a call and leave a voicemail or send him a message or anything like that, he will get back to you as quickly as he can. But you can go to opencountryfirearms.com, or you can reach out on his phone. It's 402-841-0970. Ask for Garrett. He is the man with the plan. So thanks, Garrett, for helping us go live on both platforms tonight, on YouTube and on Facebook. It's been awesome to have these relationships with folks that want to help out and help us multi-stream, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't actually make money doing this. I haven't figured out a way to actually have an income doing this stuff, or not enough of an income. I do love my Patreon patrons. They're just that money doesn't. It takes a while to build before we can do anything with it. There's just what we're doing here is mostly out of our own pocket, but the fact that we can go on StreamYard and multi-stream, I love the fact that we've got the support. So thank you, Garrett tonight, and all the others as well. So, all right, I think that's enough paying the bills. We're going to get into some stuff here, and I guess part of this is tonight's topic. The idea is, from what I've been seeing around a lot of headlines, coupled with the fact that I just recently started watching a bunch of the Marvel movies, not all of them, but I just kind of went back and started with Age of Ultron, and worked. Actually, before that, I started with, was it Age of Ultron or Winter Soldier? Which one came first? I don't remember now. Either way, I watched those two. I watched Thor Ragnarok, and that led me over to Civil War, and then off to Infinity War after that. But in Civil War, for those of you who have seen it, you'll remember this. And for those of you who have not seen it, then there's a scene in there where a good friend of Captain America's, who would have been his girlfriend if things had worked out in the first movie before he went under the ice in the 40s and was frozen for 70 years or so. Anyway, she, in current times, he didn't age. She did. She passed away. And her niece is actually giving the eulogy at the funeral in this movie. And that's Sharon Carter. Marvel fans know her as Agent 13 from S.H.I.E.L.D., played by Emily VanCamp, the blonde lady that was on Revenge. But she says, as part of her eulogy, something that she learned from her aunt. And this quote has been used and used and used all over the internet. You've probably heard this, even if you haven't seen the movie, where she says, "Compromise where you can. Where you can't, don't. Even if everyone is telling you that something wrong is something right, even if the whole world is telling you to move, it is your duty to plant yourself like a tree, look them in the eye, and say, no, you move." And so that's really been weighing on me. A lot. I mean, I've loved that ever since I first heard it. It's a variant, actually, from basically a speech from the comic books. It was Cap himself that had said that. He was talking to Spider-Man in the comic books. But I mean, it's such a great thing to think about. Whenever I hear that, I think about the anti-gun crowd and all the compromises that we've made over the years, and how some of us have decided that we're not willing to give up not one more inch, right? I mean, we've just decided that we need to take our stand here. This is it. I'm not backing up anymore. And then the more I think about it, I think, well, that's great in theory, but am I actually living that? Is that actually the way that it works? There are things like not one more inch, shall not comply, shall not be infringed, and things like that. Come and take it, and cold dead hands, and I've said several times over the last few weeks. I mean, these are great on bumper stickers, these are great T-shirts, but when it comes down to it, there aren't that many people that are literally willing to die for the cause. And even if they do, are you sure that you're going to be a martyr if, for whatever reason, the feds storm your house and come to take away your non-compliant firearms that you've said you won't comply, and the only way that they're going to get them is out of your cold dead hands, and they're going to take the bullets first and the guns after that, or whatever. All these people running their mouths all over online. And I just think, well, if that's the case, let's say that happens and you get shot in the process, and you really did, die standing for what you believe in. amid a pile of spent brass. All these cliches that we hear all the time and see on t-shirts. What good have you done? I mean, will you even make the news? Maybe local headlines, possibly, after they say that the police executed a search warrant on a suspected terrorist or something like that. I mean, you're not going to be painted in a good light. You're not going to be around to tell your side of the story. Even if you leave a manifesto for them to find, it's probably not going to get printed in the paper. So even if you really do walk the talk that you're talking there, I mean, what good are you if you're dead? So that just makes me think. I mean, I just did a private sale of a firearm earlier today. It's a handgun, so I couldn't just send this off. Well, any firearm, I couldn't just send it. It's to somebody out of state. So I had to go to a dealer, and I had to pay for a 4473. And I get tired. I keep saying I'm tired of compromising, and I'm tired of all the laws, and I don't want to see infringements. But that's a compromise that I made today. I didn't break the law. I followed the law. I went and had a dealer transfer this and a dealer ship it to another dealer. And then the person who's buying the firearm has to go to that dealer and do they live in a more restrictive state. I mean, they're going to have to, I think they even have mandatory waiting periods, which is, I don't see what good those do. But, I mean, that person has to go and fill out all the paperwork again, do another 4473 to put it over into their name. They're going to follow the laws too. So how is that not a compromise? How is that not complying? I guess. So I guess that's one of the first things that I think about is, we always say, I will not comply. Hell no, you're not going to take my AR-15 Beto, things like that. But then, well, honestly, if the feds come and knock on my door, do you really think that I stand a chance against trained professionals defending my home? Just me? Or would it be better for me to try to fight the fight legal battle? I mean, yeah, it sucks, right? Getting my stuff taken away or willingly having to do something like that, right? But what do you guys think? I mean, where do you guys draw the line as far as where you're willing to compromise and where it's just how much is too much? That's really what I want to get to tonight.
It's kind of a tough thing, especially online. You're gonna get a lot of feedback about it. But I mean, when it comes down to it, my daughter is my responsibility. So as much as I hate to say it, if they come to the door, like I have responsibility to be here for her. So I can't go down in a blaze of glory to keep my stuff. I mean, my first thing's going to do is to call my attorney, and you're going to have to fight the legal battle. Mm-hmm. There are people that may practice what they preach, go down in a blaze of glory. My guess is if they do, they don't have people relying on them.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of it. They're not family people. I mean, they're 9 times out of 10, whenever I see somebody on social media who's talking like this, immediately in my mind, I dismiss them. And that is probably wrong, but I'm telling you the truth. This is me, guys. I'm not perfect. But if you run your mouth if you run your keyboard like that online, I immediately assume that you're probably living in your parents' basement or, off by yourself somewhere in a not very clean apartment or small house. And, you've got all kinds of guns laying around maybe, but all you're good at really doing is running your mouth. But yet you haven't ever taken the time to, go dress respectably and drive to your local senator's office and meet them and speak to them face to face. You've never shown up to a city council meeting or a county commissioner's meeting or anything like that. I mean, it's just, if you're not willing to do this stuff, if it's too hard to go have hard conversations, if it's too hard to talk to people who don't necessarily agree with you, then why would I trust you to have my back if lead starts to fly? I don't trust people like that to actually be worth anything in the real fight, because all they're good at doing is repeating these phrases over and over and over again that get us nowhere. They don't gain us hearts and minds. They don't win us any points other than within our own echo chamber. So it's cool. Sometimes I put posts up on Facebook too, just to hear the people cheer, and amen and agree and all that kind of stuff. Because that's how I'm wired. Sometimes I need that affirmation, but other times I put stuff up sometimes just to piss people off and make them think, and just to see what kind of comments I'll get, and see how many people, if I can tell that they've actually been thinking, or if they're, again, just gonna spout off some of these phrases. So hopefully I'm not stepping on anybody's toes too much that's listening to this. But hey, there's a little bit of a peek behind the curtain there at how my mind works sometimes. So.
Well, and let's be honest too. If it does come, I mean, they're not coming for all your guns unless you happen to own just the things they're targeting right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not to sound like council culture or anything like that, but if you're worried about that, I mean, there's a potential if they get legislation passed. Maybe if you don't have something in your collection that you think is going to be safe by definition from what was posted on the website, now might be the time to at least get one or two items that you're fairly certain you'll be able to keep if they do take the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, that lever action rifle for home defense isn't sounding too bad. That Henry Big Boy or something in a 357 maybe. Just that's not sounding nearly as bad as it used to. That might be. I mean, if we play our cards just wrong, that might be all we legally get to have in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, well, and Warsaw out there has a point too. Is like what I'm getting at too is think about some purchases. Like look at your handgun collection. Do you have anything that has, just to be safe, that holds less than 10 rounds? If not, is it maybe time to pick up one or two magazines just for that, just to have?
Well, and see, that's my conundrum is I don't think HR 127 has a snowball's chance in Hades of passing. It's too much. It's asking for the whole cake, right? And that's never worked in the history of ever, to get the whole cake at one time. The way that the gun legislation has happened over the years is, as gun owners, we've got our rights. And originally our rights, as listed by the Second Amendment, right, which doesn't give us those rights, it just says that we have these rights. It acknowledges them. We already have them. It just says the government can't touch. It says hands off, right? Keep your hands to yourself. Get off my lawn. Goodbye. So that's our cake. It's a whole cake. It's unspoiled. Nothing's happened to this cake. Then all of a sudden, the anti-gun people want to take some of our rights away. And they're like, hey, we want your cake. And we're like, no, you can't have my cake. Can I have a piece of cake? Well, okay, you can have a piece of cake. I've got lots of cake. You can have this little piece. That's okay. We've never gotten anything back in return for giving up that slice of cake. And then a few years later, hey, I want to take another piece of that cake. Well, my cake's not as big as it used to be. Well, I want another piece of cake. So, okay, all right, you can have a piece of cake. If it means you won't take away my whole cake and you'll just take a piece, then yeah, here's a piece. That's it. Go away. We're done. A couple of years later, they want another piece of cake. A couple of years later, they want another piece of cake. We keep saying, this is the last piece of cake you can have, and it keeps not being true. Now, eventually, we're not going to have any cake left at this rate. It's going to take maybe another 100 years at the rate that it's been going. Maybe not that long at the rate that these have been introduced lately. But you can see what I'm getting at, right? Is that all they're doing is asking for one thing at a time. HR 127 is the whole cake. They want everything we have left, just about, other than a few crumbs and some little bits of frosting that are left on the side of the pan there. So that's not going to work. That's never worked. But how many of you can tell me the numbers of the bills that have been introduced? Because I can't. I'll be honest. I don't know, but I know they're out there. Background checks, individual bill. Magazine capacity bans, individual bill. What else? The tax on ammo, individual bill. All these things that are being introduced that we're not even paying attention to, that we're not focused on, because we're still all upset about HR 127 and saying, hey, you can't do that. I keep saying it's like the magician, right? The magic trick works because this hand is all flashy and they're doing stuff up here, when in reality this hand is working. You're not even paying attention, but that's where the real work got done. By the time you figure out this was all smoke and mirrors, this hand's already done the trick. And then you're just left sitting there, with your underpants on the outside of your jeans or something, and wondering how the heck did he do that?
Yeah, I mean, I fully think 127. First off, only the nut job who proposed it really thinks that could all happen at once. But they're doing that, so it's not so bad. We didn't get this whole thing passed, like what you're talking about. But maybe we can get this piece of it done, or maybe we can get this piece of it done, and then down the road maybe we can get another. Yeah, I mean that's how they're going to do it, and that's where we have to fight the good fight. And when I say fight the good fight, is you have to get involved. Get a hold of your local representatives.
Absolutely.
Write those letters. Write those emails.
Exactly.
Do something other than something that's going to just put a negative image on our side of the board anyway. Unfortunately, while you want to fight the fight, you also got to be careful how you do it, because if you do anything the media gets hold of, whether you're doing something in the right way or not, it's going to have a negative connotation, and it's going to have a negative for everybody else too. So you've got to be conscious of the image you're presenting too.
Oh yeah. Now Netflutter says if they show up to take anything, they're taking everything, because the reason they showed up makes you a nut job, according to them. And that's absolutely true as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be very vocal anymore to get painted as a racist, as a white supremacist, as a terrorist, right? A domestic terrorist. In San Francisco, if you're an NRA member, you're already a domestic terrorist in their eyes, and you are considered such.
Yep.
So it doesn't take much on the basis of, again, on the basis of public safety to justify taking rights away from somebody who's committed no crimes. And that's what red flag laws do. They take people's rights away. They take people's property away, and punish them when they've not committed any crimes at all, because, well, they might do something bad one day down the road in the future sometime, once that Minority Report comes out. And that's exactly
Right.
how absurd red flag laws are. They punish people and take their stuff away for something that they've never done and never conspired to do, because if they had proof there was conspiracy, that in itself is a crime, which is punishable. Then they tell you that it's for the safety of the public, because this person could be a danger to themselves and others. And the solution to this person who may be dangerous is to let them walk free and leave them alone. Just take their guns, because they couldn't possibly hurt themselves with pills or blades or any other way that they could hurt themselves or other people. It's only the guns that make people dangerous, which is why Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy were so dangerous, because how many people did they shoot? Oh, yeah, none.
Yeah, they're trying to find a legal way to basically, how do I want to put this? They're trying to find a legal way to legislate intent or that kind of stuff. Like, you can't
Exactly.
do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're trying to find a legal
Yep.
way to quantify intent.
Yeah.
And that's, nobody can prove what's going on in somebody else's head unless that person will tell you. And they can they can be pretty sure, but there's no way to prove it. Warsaw's got a question here, and I think he was addressing this to me, even though he named my dad. That's my dad's name. But he said, who was giving up the cake? The corrupt NRA that we've been backing up when we shouldn't have been. Now, I was only ever an NRA member for a year. And it was right when all of this stuff first came out and was being exposed of what LaPierre was doing, and what's the Ackerman and McQueen and all that was dropping them, and NRA TV was ending and all that kind of stuff. Whatever year that was, 3-4 years ago now, that was the 1 year that I was a member, and I haven't renewed the membership since then because of all that stuff that came out. But here is a fundamental flaw. And again, this is one of those things, the way I see it, guys, you don't have to like it, and it might step on some of your toes and hurt your feelers. And that's okay, because these are feelers that need to get hurt here. If you think that sending in your membership dues to NRA, sending in your $15 to SAF, your whatever it is, 20 or 30 bucks to FPC, if you think that sending in those dues and doing nothing else is doing your part in this fight, then think again. And I'm not saying you need to send more money. All right, go ahead and send your membership dues. And if you want to give them extra, then do so. If you don't want to give them extra, then don't. But you've got to help them help you. You've got to get off your butt. Stay on your butt. Sit on your couch and make a phone call. Sit on your couch and send an email. Sit on your couch and actually draft a letter. And you don't have to handwrite it. If your handwriting's like mine, don't handwrite the thing. If you've got free writing, I guarantee a handwritten letter will go farther than a typed out and printed letter. But make sure you sign it. Sign it in blue ink so that they can tell that it's actually signed, hand signed. But you can use a word processor so you don't misspell words. That's what I do. You can do these things. They don't take up much of your time, but they speak volumes. And don't make one phone call to your senator or your county commissioner or your representative or whatever is the case. Hound them. I mean, don't be a complete pest, but check in with regularity. Let them know that when your number shows up on caller ID, one of two things is going to happen. You want that person to either smile because you've got a good relationship going with them, or you want them to roll their eyes because, oh, here it is again. It's that Pat Hirsch guy calling again. He wants me to vote this way on this bill that's coming up that I don't want to vote, and he's going to tell me that he's not going to vote for me if I don't vote his way. And here we go again. But I guarantee that if everybody did that, then that person would be swayed to vote the way that their constituents want. Or they would understand that if they're not going to do it, they better get everything done in this term because it's the last term they're ever going to get. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're going to blame the NRA for this, they are 100% responsible in part. See what I did there? They're not 100% responsible. Yeah, they take a big share of the blame for wasting time, wasting effort, definitely wasting money. But it's also on the people who sent their dues in thinking that was all they had to do, and trusting NRA, to be their savior. I mean, everybody who's ever been in business, especially if your business is agriculture, I know Pat's going to agree with this. If you don't diversify, you put all your eggs into just that one basket, all you're asking for is failure and bankruptcy. And if you put bet all your money just on one number on that roulette wheel, and then that number doesn't come through, well, who do you really have to blame? Is it them? Or are you getting upset at the results you didn't get for the work you didn't put in? So, Warsaw, you're right. NRA didn't help us any. That sucks. And if we have our way, then, yeah, we'll get them to start helping again. One of these weeks, we're going to get the local NRA rep. He's out of Kansas City, but he covers Nebraska. He covers Iowa, Kansas, and maybe parts of Missouri, but he covers this whole area. His name's Kelvin. We're going to get him on to just talk to us, and we're going to do our best to keep everything civil, but we're just going to let people ask questions and kind of have a little bit of a town hall format there.
We're just going to poke at him a little bit.
And we're not even going to do that because here's the thing. Now, when that happens, I'm going to be the first one to say, don't shoot the messenger. Okay. Kelvin inherited a mess when he came into that office in Kansas City. For those of us who are kind of aware of how things have gone in Lincoln recently, I'll tell you that we never really have had a good showing from the NRA with any of these bills that are coming up, like the one that's happening tomorrow. Now, I don't know if Kelvin's going to make it tomorrow to Lincoln, but I guarantee that if he can, he will be there too, representing the NRA and testifying, because I've met the man several times. Defense Dad, you met him after the Deer Expo. He's a good guy. We're going to be, we've got somebody now in this area who works for the NRA who actually, when I met him the first time, he said he's kind of looking at it as his job to kind of fix some of the things that have been going on. Now, he can't fix what's happening in New York. He can't fix what happens in Virginia. And if they get their move to Texas, he won't have any say so there either. He's one of the worker bees. Keep that in mind. But he is one of the people, the real boots on the ground who really do things. NRA is not 100% bad. The worker bees are still getting it done despite what's happening with the $30,000 suits. So, and he's not wearing a $30,000 suit. He's wearing jeans and a polo. He's a good guy.
Right.
Let's see here. What else? I missed some more comments I was going to put up there. Warsaw says, in Canada, you have to call the police and tell them where you're headed to your range, and you can't stop anywhere else on the way. That's not just Canada. Isn't that how New York is? You also need a permit for every firearm you own. And I think it was just yesterday or today I saw a headline that Trudeau is talking like they're going to introduce legislation pretty soon that'll just completely ban pistols in Canada. So you're going to have already, the way I understand it, already in Canada, automatic firearms have to be kept at a gun club or at a range as it is. You can have your bolt action hunting rifles, maybe a lever action, and some revolvers, but that's about it. So the handguns are going to go away next, and then they'll work on getting rid of those hunting rifles. That's why if you watch as much Outdoor Channel as I do, all of the hunting shows that happen up in Canada, you pretty much only ever see archery or muzzleloader, because the center fire rifles just aren't as prevalent as they are in the States. Brownies for my fat, which I've not seen that name, so welcome. And I totally love the name. Don't forget about the bills on the state level. Yes, it's not just the federal bills. Actually, some of the state level bills I think are more important. And I'm not just going to talk about the ones here in Nebraska, but
exactly.
Missouri's got good stuff going on, where I think it's a county. I don't know that it's the whole state, but I think there's a county in Missouri that's putting forth legislation that says they will arrest any federal officer who tries to enforce an unconstitutional firearm law in their county. And that sheriff it's not just declaring, hey, I'm a pro 2A sheriff and this is a sanctuary county, and hey, go 2A, rah, rah, rah. This one's got teeth. This one says, if you try to infringe, then we're going to bite back, and we're going to bite back hard. That's the kind of thing that we really, really need to have happen. Let's see here. What else have I missed?
Yeah, and that's another thing too, John. Make sure on the local level, go talk to your sheriffs with everything that's going down. See how they pan out on the Constitution and everything. Make sure that they're staying up on their end of the deal. Because remember, they're an elected official. They're not like somebody from a city or something that serves at the leisure. They are voted in.
Yes.
So you got to make sure that you keep your sheriffs and everything accountable on what they are supposed to be doing. It's just like anybody else that's voted in. So, and if you don't like it, get them out.
Nope, exactly right. And that's, I think, about to become more important than it's ever been. If 2020 taught us anything, then it taught us how important the elections are for mayor, for county commissioner, for county sheriff, for governor, because it was not Donald Trump and it is not Joe Biden, contrary to what a lot of people want to believe, that are causing the problems with shutting down economies. It wasn't Trump's decision to shut down entire states at a time. It's not Biden's decision to keep them locked down. He can only make recommendations. He even said that in his town hall the other night, I guess a week ago tonight, that he can only make recommendations on some of these things. It's up to the individual states. It's up to their governors and their legislators. So that's why these things are so important. You need to know who works for you. I never used to know this stuff. I never used to care. I didn't want to know how politics worked. I didn't want to know about laws. I didn't want to know about any of this stuff. But it's kind of funny how getting into the pro, or just getting into the gun world a little bit deeper. I've always been a gun person, but I never was really deep into it. And I can't really say that I am now as far as the actual guns themselves, and my collection hasn't grown too much. But it's funny how that'll show you how many rights get infringed, how many rights get flat out trampled upon. And when you see it happen to your Second Amendment rights, you start looking around, noticing that it happens to other rights as well. And it's really interesting to see how your perspective changes when you look at anything in the world. And so I don't know if everybody else has had that experience, but that's how it's been for me anyway. Let's see what else. Warsaw says red flag laws are being abused like Salem witch trials. Yes, sometimes people do get swatted. Let's see. Blitz says, yeah, good stuff, Blitz. Bug your local and federal reps so much that they know your name on a first name basis. Just don't be rude and obnoxious, or you'll be ignored very quickly. And worse than ignored, you'll be dismissed. It doesn't matter what you say. If you get into that pile of people where they just dismissed you as a nut job, then you could be saying gold. I mean, great stuff, right? But it's going to fall on deaf ears because they're going to tune out and not even listen when you're talking. Let's see here. I know there was some other stuff I wanted to mention. As these comments, you guys are awesome in the commenting. It's just that I can't keep up. Peter's out there checking in before he goes to work. He's listening from Tucson, Arizona. I know it's Tucson. I like to say Tucson. What else have I missed out there? Warsaw has. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and read this one anyway. Question Warsaw has always asked, why do we have so much damn corruption, state and federal? He found out this past year his state representatives were not support to be voted in. They're supposed to be. I'm not sure what that actually says there, but why do we have so much corruption? Because too many people for too long have had their head in the sand and didn't care. And just think about this. When we all get it together here, just about everybody out there in the chat that's listening right now cares, right? I mean, unless you stumbled across this and you're hearing some of this stuff for the first time, hopefully you will start to care. But just about everybody here, at least the names that I recognize, I know that you care about this stuff, right? You care as much as I do, maybe more if that's possible. But most people don't. When you leave here tonight and you go out into the world tomorrow and have, conversations with normal people at your work, or if you're not at work, then other people who are at their work, when you're doing shopping or whatever it is, how many of those people care as much as you do about corruption within the state legislature or Congress? I mean, everybody says, they're just a bunch of thieves and crooks and whatever, and that's it, right? But nobody actually wants to think about what do we do about it? They just throw their hands up and say, oh, what can we do? Oh, the crooks. Oh, the country's run by crooks. What can we do? Well, if they'd listen, for 10 minutes, you could tell them exactly what to do, and then they're not going to do it. Because even the people that care want to run their mouths and complain and piss and moan on the internet about how bad things are and how bad the left is, and still don't do a dang thing about it. So I'm not perfect. There's a lot of stuff that I could do that I don't do either. I'm not saying that I'm getting everything done, but even having these conversations is a step, right? It's not the destination, but it's a step. Have these conversations, and maybe just every week have this conversation with one person who you don't normally do it with. If they don't want to listen, don't make them listen, just let them have, wish them a good day. But if they do want to listen, and you can give them just something to think about the rest of their day, maybe it'll just kind of eat at them a little bit. Maybe they'll go online that night and start looking into some of this stuff. You never know. So, just let's do our part. That's what grassroots means, right? We're not going to depend on anybody else to do the work for us. We're going to do it ourselves. We're going to work together. We're not all going to do everything the same way. We're not all going to do things the way that we all think each other should do it, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there together. Which brings me to another thing I want to bring up. But before I switch gears, Defense Dad or Pat, do you have anything else that you want to throw in here for the stuff we've already been talking about?
Yeah, I'll throw in something here a little bit quick, kind of doubling back on what we were talking earlier. As far as the pieces of cake that keep disappearing in front of us.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to circle back?
Yeah. I don't know if we've hit, and I guess I'll phrase it this way. I'm not sure if we've hit that limit yet where everybody has just had enough. I think we're getting close. I think we're getting closer all the time, but where is it? Where is that limit? I don't know. I don't think anybody else really knows for sure either. But what happens when we actually hit that limit? That's what worries me.
I know.
I can see it going one of 20 million ways. You know what I mean?
Anybody who's listened to this podcast before knows how I feel about this. I mean, again, it goes back to so many people are ready to kick off this big igloo, right? What are the there's stuff I'm not supposed to talk about, or else I'll get kicked off YouTube or whatever. But they're ready for a literal civil war. They're ready for a shooting war. They're ready to get their Wish.com plate carrier and their helmet on, and they're ready to go play soldier. And that's exactly what it is. They're going to go play soldier. They think that it's going to be fun, and they're going to be cool, right? And I don't know anybody who's actually been a soldier. And when I say that, I'm going to all branches, okay, not just Army, but we're just going to say soldier for now to simplify. I don't know anybody that's actually been there and been shot at, whether it's military, police, civilian, self-defense, whatever it is. I don't know anybody that wants to go back and get shot at again. There are people that are willing to do it. There are people that want to do it to ensure that their friends come home safe, but nobody actually wants to get shot at. Nobody wants to shoot at their own countrymen, and that's what would happen here. We're not talking about shooting somebody who is a terrorist who thinks that everybody in America should die, and they literally want to see us all dead. We're talking about potentially, again, brother versus brother, just like it was in the 1860s. We don't want that. And so there's a lot of people that are ready for that fall into that category I said before, where they can't even try and get along and try and fix some of this stuff before we get that far. They're ready to just stick a fork in it and call it done now. But there's a lot of salvage left. There's a lot of work left to do. I mean, I've talked about this before. Even during the American Revolution, up to the point where Cornwallis surrendered, we had emissaries nonstop in London appealing to King George and asking him to just grant us our freedom and stop the insanity. And he wouldn't do it, but we never stopped trying to find a diplomatic solution to end the war for our independence.
Right.
Finally, it did end. We finally did become our own sovereign nation. But it was people who, the cooler heads prevailed, right? Everybody understood that even though we do have people who are willing to lay down their life if necessary to let their children and their children's children live a free life, which is admirable. If I'm ever put in that position, I hope that I'm as noble as they are. But despite that, we still had people that understood that the way to end a war is to not fire a shot, right? You win every fight that you avoid. And some people might say that's cowardice, but I say that it's sometimes a bad run's better than a good fight. It's, again, when it comes down to it, if I can live my life never getting into a fight, then I'm going to consider that a win. So the people that are willing to kick this off, that we don't have any kind of organization, we don't have any clear-cut leader, we don't have Jefferson Davis, we don't have right? I mean, we don't have anybody like that.
We can't stop fighting amongst ourselves for 2 seconds.
We don't have a Robert E. Lee to lead the forces. So, and we can't, you're right, we can't stop fighting amongst ourselves to figure out who's going to be a general and who's going to be a private and who's going to fill in the ranks in between. And exactly. So we can't, and partly because we're a bunch of people who don't want to be told what to do. So I get it. I mean, inherently,
we're all individuals.
That's what the American patriot
We're not in lockstep,
right?
Like the Democrats.
Yeah. We resist being called sheep or sheeple. We don't want to be that. So, exactly. Vash, you make a good point. I want to throw this up there. Vash says, willing, yes, wanting, hell no. There's a difference. There are people that are willing that don't want to do it, but will do it. And that's a patriot to me. I don't want to die, but if I need to, then so be it. I mean, that's, again, that goes back. That's noble. Regardless of bloodline, that's noble. So I like that. Clint says when the deer start shooting back, he's done hunting. That makes me think of Crocodile Dundee when the kangaroo starts shooting back at him.
Yep.
That's funny.
Croc, he's got a gun.
I get we have a couple leaders, a couple generals. We can have Grand Thumb. We've got Jerry Michalak. He could lead us, right? Clint Smith, I'd follow that dude about anywhere. CC Redmond over on Facebook, freedom has always been dangerous. Yes. I've said many, many times that we have you have safety or freedom, but they're a teeter-totter. When you have more of one.
No sound, John. Nope. You're dead right at the moment. Can't hear nothing.
How about now?
Okay. Kind of muffled.
A little muffled.
Am I good now?
Well, enough you're good, we can hear you.
Am I like I was before? My cords are apparently kind of loose.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not bad.
Okay, good deal. Apparently
Got all excited.
My power connection. I bumped my microphone and it shouldn't be bumped.
Talking with my hands, anyway. I don't know what to do with them. Sorry, I got to pick on you a little bit, John.
I got to have my hands to talk. All right. So anyway, I want to switch gears a little bit, and apparently we're not going to get our special guest, so we're just going to keep winging this and call it good. And I'm going to go change my Facebook post to take his name out of it. I even confirmed with him. Makes me mad. So here's the thing. There's a couple other things that I want to talk about as far as compromising and things like that, and cancel culture. There are posts that I've made in the past couple weeks on Facebook that people have tried to call me out and say, hey, I thought you didn't believe in cancel culture. Well, if I give you information, I tell you I'm not going to give somebody business or whatever, in no way, shape, or form am I trying to say, hey, we need to, all of us, I want all of you to stop giving them business so we can put them out of business and make them go away. I would never do that. I even, much as it pained me to do it, some of you might have seen this. I stood up for Cheaper Than Dirt the other day. Not because I like them, but because I recognize that they have the right to be dicks about, I guess they're kind of like dicks in a way, is what I mean. Sporting goods store, not breaking my PG-13 rules here. No, honestly, everybody knows what Cheaper Than Dirt does. And somebody posted up an Anderson stripped lower for like, what was it, $300 or something like that on their website, saying that, the company should just go away. Well, my thought is, if they can find anybody dumb enough to spend that much, power to them, right? I mean, if you do a job for $20 an hour and somebody else comes along and can get your boss to hire them to do the same position, and they're going to get $30 an hour, I mean, power to them. Maybe it's the same quality of work, and that sucks to be you, right? So maybe you should do something about that. But that's just the thing, is there's no guarantee that you're going to be the only one, right? That ever comes along. If somebody wants to shop there, let them. I say let them. I think that it's not a problem at all to spread the word that, hey, this is the kind of stuff that they're doing, and say that I don't like this. That's fine. You have the absolute right to say you don't like it. I don't care. But when you start talking about putting them out of business and shutting them down, that gets dangerously close to sounding like those people who want to take away all guns because they don't like them, or because one person did a bad thing with one once. I mean, it's just, this is a free market, right? If there's another store that you can find it cheaper, then go shop there. If you're like me and you're not willing to buy ammo from anybody right now at $1 a round for $2.23, then just don't buy the ammo. That's fine. But if people want to buy it for $900 a case or $1,000 a case, how is that my business? Unless I'm selling mine for $800 and mad that somebody else is getting $1,000 for it. I mean, that's, again, how do I have a leg to stand on here? I should have raised my prices or something. I don't know. I should be happy that I got mine sold, right? I mean, Pat, when you sell calves, you get a certain price for them. Next week, if calves are bringing more, it sucks, but you don't go back to the sale barn and say, hey, I want this price. I want you to pay me the difference, right? I mean, that's just the way that works.
Exactly. And add adversely that same week, if somebody has the same looking calves that we do when we take them into the sale barn, then all of a sudden that guy gets a better price, even though ours looked exactly the same like his, with the same amount of fat, same amount of weight. There's nothing you can do about it, because guess what? Free market.
Yeah, exactly. And whoever bought those can't go back to the auctioneer and complain that, they paid more than the guy that bought yours.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, that's just, that's how free market works.
Yep.
So Cheaper Than Dirt, I mean, I don't have a problem saying that I'll never give them my business, right? But when I say that, it doesn't mean that I want you to quit shopping there. I want you to make your own decisions. If you shop there, I think you're dumb. If you're going to pay that kind of money for that kind of product that you can get elsewhere for a third of the price. But me thinking you're dumb in no way is me trying to cancel them or say they shouldn't be in business. That's only one example, but the big example that everybody's been talking about for a week or so now is, and I can't even remember the name, but I wouldn't say their name anyway. There's a company out there who sells ammo, and before you can buy the ammo, you have to click a yes box or a no box. They ask if you voted for Joe Biden. And if you tell them no, then you get to buy the ammo. And if you tell them yes, then instead of going to the shopping cart, it redirects you over to Biden's gun control page on his website. But you can't say you voted for Biden and get the ammo from that company. Now, some people think that's great. Some people think that's terrible. I think that's stupid as a business. But here's the ramifications. And what I'm thinking about is, all the people that are like, well, yeah, because if you voted for Biden, you don't have any business. You shouldn't have ammo anyway. right? We don't want their kind in our community. They shouldn't have ammo. If they don't think the way that I think, they should have their Second Amendment rights taken away. We should infringe upon them, is what they're saying, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah, we have the right to refuse service to anyone we choose.
Right, and that's fine.
Well,
but you know where I'm coming at from that.
They
though,
have
right?
that right. Absolutely. I'm not saying that company should change their methods.
So here's the
They're probably
reality
not
of that.
getting my business, but they weren't going to get much from me anyway lately, so it's not that
Right.
big of a deal. They haven't
Exactly.
lost anything.
It's a double-edged sword.
Right. They haven't lost anything from me since they weren't going to get it anyway for a while.
Yeah.
Defense Dave, what were you saying?
Well, so here's the reality of that situation. And normally, I'm in retail. I've been in sales for a long time. I would say yes, that's a poor business decision. However, they have the luxury of making that decision and standing up for what they believe right now, simply because there is a shortage of ammo. If they turn those people away, they got plenty of other people that are going to buy it. I would be a little curious to see if they'd still be doing that if they weren't in the middle of an ammo shortage. Because then their people aren't scrambling to buy that. So
Exactly.
I can see both sides of it, and that's their right to do it.
It's funny though. This community sometimes has almost no memory, and then other times they've got a long memory. Right. So I'm one of those long memory people. I've still, we're not gonna get into it right now. I still have no desire to buy a Springfield Armory. Product of any kind, way, shape, or form that's new. Okay. It's my decision. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, and I'm not saying that you can't do it, and I'm not saying that Springfield Armory should go out of business. I just really think that they should go out of business. But I'm not saying that we should put them. I wish that a company who acts like that would get put in their place. That's what I wish. But me, myself, and I aren't big enough to put them there. Okay. I don't expect everybody else to think like me and feel like me. That's okay. My issue isn't so much with this ammo company. They can make their own bad decisions. I know a lot about making bad decisions. I can't judge people for making bad decisions. All right. So it's not my place to say how they should run their business. Who's to say I could run it any better? It's not my place to say the people that order their ammo there should not be giving them the business. It's not my decision to make. It's not my choice. And again, free market, right? Free country. You go do business with who you want to do business with. It's none of my business. Now, my issue is all the people that are saying that, again, this company is doing the right thing, that we need to shut out all those Biden voters. We need to shut them out and not let them into the community because, and that's where I don't know because. I don't know why. Because we don't need more people to help fight for our cause. Because we don't think they're able to change their mind and see that they made a mistake. Because we don't think that this cause is bigger than an R or a D. Because I don't know. I don't know the becauses on this. I just think that everybody who believes that if you voted for Biden, that you shouldn't be able to buy a gun or buy ammo, I think you sound like a hypocrite. I think you sound like a piece of crap. I think you sound exactly like Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein saying that you shouldn't be able to buy a gun, but I should be able to have armed guards protect me. You sound like that to me. If the shoe fits, wear it. If not, then cool. Okay. And I'm not saying I'm not willing to be your friend, but if that's how you think, you and I don't agree.
Okay. Well, then I'll, since I know you really like this, John, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate for you on this one.
All right.
Okay. With all the stuff that the left has been pulling on everybody with the canceling and everything and booting everybody off of social media or companies and stuff like that they don't agree with their message and stuff and getting rid of them. And this company does this. Isn't turnabout fair play?
Possibly. Somebody
So-
asked me, not about the ammo thing, but about that cheaper than dirt thing. Somebody asked me, at what point does it turn into price gouging? The answer I gave there is it's not price gouging when there's other places to go get it. It's just a bad
Exactly.
business model.
Yep.
I mean, again, if you hold a monopoly and everybody is forced to do business with you or not do business at all, that's different. I mean, that's unhealthy anyway, right? That's the opposite of what this country was founded on, or what this economy was founded on. And so we don't want monopolies. We actually have laws in place to stop monopolies. Anytime you see corporate mergers, one company buys out another company, you see that it has to go through the SEC and it has to be approved by federal agencies. It has to be investigated first to make sure that it's not going to create a monopoly, right? Because those aren't healthy. So I don't know. I mean, it's
right. I just wanted to throw a little wrench in there on that one.
It's a valid point. You make a valid point. I said what I said and I stand by it. I think that the people that think that are wrong. They're welcome to think that I'm wrong. I don't care. You can think that all you want. You might be right. I don't know. But I'm right in my mind in this case. So Blitz says he loves his real 1945 M1. That's not Springfield Armory. That's the Armory in Springfield. Not Springfield Armory in Illinois. So a totally different company. A lot of people don't realize that. The Springfield Armory that's selling the XD series from Croatia, which isn't even an American product, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but anybody that says I can't stand the imported plastic pistols from Austria. So here, look at my XD. Look at your XD. It says made in Croatia right on it. It's a whatever X2000 or something like that is the company that actually makes that. It's not even owned by Springfield. It's imported by them. Their most popular stuff is European made.
Everybody knows the best imported stuff comes from Germany anyway. Come on now.
Apparently, yeah. A lot of people are telling me the best imported stuff comes from Turkey for the money, which I don't know. I still need to do more research and find out if money that goes into the Turkish economy gets sent to ISIS or not, or any other terrorist group. Because if we can prove that it doesn't, then I really want to try some of those Turkish guns, but I don't want them to have my money if that's where it goes.
Yeah, you also gotta look real careful at your shotgun collection if you're winning.
I guarantee that none of my shotguns were made in Turkey or the U.S. or any European country or any other country because I don't have any shotguns.
There you go.
Oh,
but yeah,
got all your bases covered then,
right?
Well, and I kind of wanted to, hey, let's circle back to something.
But you're right on that. Okay, go ahead, circle back.
Well, so we're talking about all this stuff, right? And so, Pat raised the other side of the board. Like, well, obviously, all the cancel culture worked from them, because they took the election. So while we may not want to do it, some of it is effective, which I don't know if that's right, but is back to how we as 2A are going to, help combat that. We also mentioned it was very briefly that we can't even agree with each other, right? So prime example is I made a video making fun of it, but like we shame people for their decisions within the 2A community, what they purchase and what they choose to shoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today I was at the gun range. The day after I released a video, I'm not plugging my video, but I thought it ironic.
You can plug it, it's fine.
Well, no, but I'm at the range and I'm shooting, and this guy older than me came over, started talking, and basically, I was shooting a 357 and a 45, and he kind of made a comment like, it sure is nice to see someone not out here shooting 9s and ARs, because I still understand why anybody would shoot those. And I'm just like, oh, here we go. I just happen to be here shooting something I hadn't had before. Normally, I'd be out here shooting exactly what you just said you didn't want out here. So we judge each other. So just to have fun with them, I also told him I owned a 1911 and 9mm, and I thought he was going to poop himself. But we can't even come together on that crap. How are we going to come together as a unified front to fight the other stuff?
Well, okay, now let me switch gears and come at this from a different angle, because I agree, and you guys have heard me complain about this very thing for many, many different times.
I already know where you're going.
Do you though? I don't know. You tell me if you know where I'm going when I get there. At the end of the day, we're all on the same team, but we don't all do things the same way. Think about a football team. Okay, the quarterback's got one job, and the running back's got another job, and and the wide receivers, sometimes the tight ends. Those are the ones that everybody knows their names, right? Those are the flashy ones. Those are the ones that you see making big plays, but they have a completely different assignment than the guys on the O-line. But without those people doing their job, none of the other people can get their job done either. And so all 11 of those people come together doing different things, working toward a common goal. And if the common goal is just to get the ball into the end zone, that's one thing. But if the common goal is to win the game, then you've got a whole separate core of people whose job it is to play defense, right? Not everybody can play offense. Not everybody can be the Tom Brady or the Aaron Rodgers or the Joe Montana, right? So not everybody gets to be the flashy face of the team, but everybody works together. And Joe Montana would tell you that without a line, he wouldn't be worth much. He wouldn't be where he is today, making whatever AARP commercials or whatever I saw him on here a while back. I mean, we wouldn't even know him. And so all of those people working together, whether they like each other or not, whether they get along in the locker room or not, what really matters is when push comes to shove and that ball gets snapped, that they all have one goal in mind. Their eyes are all on the same prize, and they're all doing everything in their power to make it happen to the best of their abilities. So I don't think we'll ever not bicker over 45-9, but I don't think it matters. We don't have to agree on 45-9 to win this fight. We just have to remember that that's not important when it comes down to losing our rights. So we can have those fun conversations, and we can take them too far and get butthurt if we want to. We just can't let that be the only fight that we invest in, right? We've got to learn to pick our battles. We've got to learn how to work with the guy with the Gucci Glock and the guy with the 1911 pre-A1, right? Just the standard 1911. We've got to work with both of those guys. We've got to work with the guy with the high point. We've got to work with the guy that's got the Cabot 1911. We've got to work with the people who don't even know how to hold a gun right, but are willing to stand on their front step and defend their home against an angry mob. We've got to work with all of these people. And that's what's going to win this war, is when we all agree to disagree on the little things, but keep pushing for the end zone and keep pushing to get the W. And if we all promise each other that no matter what, we're not going to quit until we get there, then the rest of it's going to sort itself out. I just don't want actual lead to fly in the process. I'm not willing to admit defeat in the diplomatic arena and start off the big igloo. I'll never get to that point. Even if the big igloo starts, I'm never going to admit defeat in the diplomatic arena. That's just how I'm wired. So is that where you thought I was going, Pat?
Yeah, actually, that's pretty dang close, really.
Dang it, I hate being predictable.
Well, we can all be individuals, but at the end of the day, if we're all working towards a common goal, we can get there.
Yep.
So, yep.
Exactly right. I mean, it's
And I totally agree with that. We can all pick on each other about what we shoot, what we drive, what we wear. It doesn't matter. But as long as at the end of the day, if we can all come together and work towards that one common goal, then we will be okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I agree with that, but my point in bringing that up, like this guy, honestly, wasn't kidding about it. As soon as he found out, that's why he almost walked off. So the people who kid about it, that's fine and dandy. But there are people in our community that don't kid about it and don't want to even talk to you about it. So those are the ones I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
No, you're right, and I get that. I wish that he was one of the ones that I'm talking about, but yeah, that's fine. But again, what do you guys think? Is it best to just discount him and say, I can't even talk to you, I can't have a conversation with you, just get out of my face, get out of my life, get out of my world, you shouldn't even own guns, goodbye, no ammo for you, no soup for you, go to back of line, come back 1 year? I mean, I was
perfectly willing to keep talking to him.
I know better than to think you did that, but just in the grand scheme of things, somebody who doesn't think like we do, we still can't discount them. That guy might, you don't know, and I'm not calling you out here. It's going to sound like I am. I'm not meaning to call Defense Dad out for this, but we don't know. For all we know, that guy maybe is a member of 6 different organizations who actually he's not just sending them the dues, he's actually going out and helping them fight legal battles or something. We don't know. I doubt it, but there's no way of knowing, right? So Clint had a funny comment out here. It's funny how the AK was the only great thing developed under communism, yet American communists hate it. Patriot answered that one because it's a freedom trophy, and most American communists don't dig freedom, which is true. Clint's got a million of them tonight. High Point shoots most of the time, makes a great hammer all the time.
I like the second one better.
That one, you throw a high point at somebody, you can really mess them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's funny because I've seen a lot of people post recently how you should carry an all steel gun, a 1911 or something like that, because if you run out of ammo, you can't hurt anybody whipping them with a plastic gun. First of all, if you don't believe that, you stand still and let me clock you with an unloaded Glock 19, and you tell me if it hurts. Second of all, the High Point's even heavier than the Glock is, and it's plastic too.
Oh yeah.
You just gotta hold them different. You don't pistol whip them with the butt of a plastic gun. You gotta have a hold of the slide. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Did I really just say come on, man?
Come on, man.
I'm gonna smack myself.
You gotta hold it with the thing. And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and I got the hairs on my legs. And come on, man, you know the thing.
Yeah, and then freedom and. Yeah, you know the rest.
yeah, I pledge allegiance to the thing. Come on, man. Okay, well, we've had a lot of fun, and we've talked about some things. We've kind of covered most of what I wanted to cover tonight anyway. I think we're going to wrap things up. The puppy's getting kind of restless, so we're going to wrap things up so she can go outside, and we can go to bed at maybe a halfway decent hour tonight. So real quick here, Pat, I will let you just kind of have the floor. Anything else you want to say that we haven't gotten to yet? Any circling back or revisiting topics or anything at all?
Yeah, I will point out one thing. What we were talking about on the local level, as far as bills and stuff like that coming down the pipe. Make sure you stay on top of your state stuff. And make sure that your voice gets heard, because especially with a lot of these states trying to put in the 2A sanctuary stuff, check and make sure that your state is hopefully going to be one of them wherever you live. And just get out there and support all the good gun stuff and shoot down all the, no pun intended, bad stuff that is coming down the pipe. So just look at stuff on your local level. So that's all I got to say. Thanks again, John, for having me on.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of local level, I'm going to post this on both sides here. For those of you who aren't in Nebraska, you're not going to care. And maybe you will. But for those of you in Nebraska, there is a huge bill that's getting heard in committee tomorrow. I can't make it to Lincoln tomorrow. LB 188 in Nebraska would make us an actual two-way sanctuary state, but it's a law with teeth. It would prohibit any agency within the state of Nebraska, either state level or county or city, from enforcing any unconstitutional firearm laws pertaining to firearms, ammo, or accessories. Basically, if it's not already a law in our Constitution or the Nebraska State Constitution, then it's not constitutional. So pretty much HR 127, everything in there. It would mean that not only does it say that state actors or local actors can't enforce it, and not just the cops, prosecutors, judges, all that stuff. Nice. But also there are penalties if you do try and enforce those things. So that means that it's kind of like decriminalizing marijuana. It's still a federal offense, but the DEA has to be the one to bust you for it. So this would mean that FBI or ATF would have to be the ones to come in and enforce those laws within the state of Nebraska. So it's the first step.
That's smart.
Right? The first step is to get it out of the committee and headed to the Senate floor for a vote by all the senators. The committee that it's going to, Government, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee, we've got some good people on that, but not enough. So we've talked about all this at length over on the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association channel. We did that last night, and if you missed those, you can go catch those on YouTube and Facebook. The links are on my Facebook page as well. But tomorrow, if you want to watch the hearing, it's scheduled for the afternoon session. So starting at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, the Government, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee, our local public television station in Nebraska, live streams all of those committee hearings. So there is the link to get to that page for NET Nebraska. And then it's actually, I bet I could find the actual link. Let's see. There it is right there. Copy. Let me do this. The second link here doesn't work right now. If you click on it, it just tells you the session hasn't started yet. But that's the direct link to get to that session tomorrow beginning at 1:30 p.m. So even though it's too late to get testimony submitted, if you haven't already, you've missed the deadline, but you can watch this. And I'll be at work. Excuse me. That's why I can't go there tomorrow. But I will be trying to record this on my phone. I'm planning on, I've got a backup phone, so I'm going to try and start this live stream and just screen record it. Just let it go. And then I'll have that, and at the very least, I'll get to be able to go back and watch it and see how it goes. I don't know if I'll be able to post that up down the road. We'll see if I get that done or not. It's likely to be several hours worth of footage, so may not happen.
Is that the actual link to the actual room then right there, John?
The second link is the link to the actual room, the session for that committee. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. The link that says Government, Military, and Veterans Affairs right in the link. That's the one. So, and that is room 1507 if you're going there. So, all right. Cool. All right, Defense Dad, anything that you haven't gotten to mention tonight before we wrap things up?
No, I appreciate you bringing up what you just did. I was there last year. I wish I could be there tomorrow. It's in my town, but I just could not get the day off work. So, but other than that, just thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they had to schedule both of these on the only day of the week that you're the only one at work, huh?
Yeah, on Wednesdays I am the only person all day long.
So there's not even taking a long lunch or anything. So, but yeah, I don't know how late it's going to go next week. I am planning on being in Lincoln. So if I get a chance, I will holler at you. But if it gets too late over in the Capitol, then I'll be heading home. So we'll see what happens.
Sure.
But yeah, so those are out there, and I will. I'll be sharing that link over on my Facebook page. Excuse me, and I should be able to get this on the community page on the YouTube side too, for those of you that want to come back and find it. So, all right. Well, with that, a couple things we're going to do here. Let's go back over and put this back up on the screen. We want to thank Open Country Firearms for bringing us live on both YouTube and Facebook tonight. Go contact Garrett Keel in Osmond, Nebraska at Open Country Firearms for all your firearms needs. I meant to say this earlier, and I don't think I did. New and used firearms, ammo as it becomes available, but also silencers. He's got a silencer shop kiosk right in his shop there. So he can get everything done from start to finish. The way I understand it, they can get everything done and set up in such a way that once your suppressor gets out of NFA jail, they can actually ship it right to you then. So you don't even have to make a trip if you're not local to Osmond. You can get that taken care of. So I don't know how all that works because I've never bought a suppressor yet. Hint, hint. But my day's coming one day. I just found this out too. I was talking to an FFL here in town today who shipped that firearm for me. He said he's been getting suppressors back in about 5 months. So he said one of the side benefits of COVID is with all of the ATF agents working from home, they're not standing around drinking coffee BSing. They're actually getting their work done. And the NFA wait times have actually come down, he's noticed, in the last year. So cool. Silver lining to that cloud. So, all right. But thank you, Garrett, and Open Country Firearms for helping us go live on YouTube and Facebook both. All right. We have got the list. We're going to say hi to everybody that said hi to us. All right. So if you were watching on Facebook and not commenting, you're not on the list. So you can be anonymous on Facebook as well if you're not commenting. But over there commenting on Facebook, we had CC Redmond, Peter, Marsha. There's only two, though. It's not Marsha, but two Marshas, John and Larry. So thank you very much for joining us over on Facebook. My voice is about to go here. I'm not sick. I've just had this dry throat tickle from my sinuses draining for a couple weeks now. Okay, on YouTube, we had Grim90, Vanessa Kitty, Pat Hirsch, Defense Dad, G23, Richard Hirsch, Agorizer, Schofield 63, Blitz, MKJO, Keith Gregory, Earth, Mike, Seven Wonders, Warsaw Patriot, Netflutter, Dead Horse, Brownies for my fat. I still love that name. Now I'm hungry for a brownie. Patriot in the Dark, Wheeled and Well Armed, Vash Matrix, Clint Taurus, Ozzy Osbourne, and John 12 Gauge coming in from across the pond. Speaking of Austrian imports, thanks for joining us, John 12 Gauge. So, again, if you are watching live and you're not commenting, we don't know you're there. We can't say hi to you. So, we will read your name off if you get out there and be active in the chat so that we actually know who's joining us week in and week out. I'm going to float this, and I don't know that it's going to happen. I'm just putting out some feelers. But I want to know, and you can comment in the live chat, or you can drop comments down below too after the fact in the actual video comment section. But if we switch this over to like a Thursday and went at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, how many of you would stay? How many of you can't make that work? I just want to know. I've kind of thought about switching evenings, switching times a little bit. Just to kind of make things a little bit more accessible to more people earlier in the night. Excuse me. Tuesday doesn't really work because I just don't want to compete with Ghost and Night Strike and some of those shows because a lot of you go from one to the other to here. So we may switch with switch nights. I think Clover's the only one that I'm really going to go up against. And make some of you choose who you watch live and who you watch on the replay. You can tell me what you want about Yankee going live. I don't care. most of you are Yankees viewers, don't know me for the most part. I don't think I'm going to lose a whole lot, and I'm not going to be any competition to him. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll take some of his people away. That'd be cool. Anyway, I just want to know how people feel about it. If you'd still find us, or if you'd still watch it even after the fact. I want to know that too. So, all right. I think that's it. I think that's all we want to cover. Go to blackswantactical.com/collection/Sandhills-shooter. Thanks, Blitz, for throwing that up there. I know. Yes, he has done that about 5 times. You can get cool hats like this one. You can get shirts that say the same thing. Hoodies, hats like the one Pat's got there too. Stickers, coffee mugs, and more stuff coming all the time. I see that in the Gorillas and Guns collection, they've got shoes. So I'm gonna have to talk to Crumpy about seeing if we can get some Sandhills Sweetheart shoes or some Sandhills Shooter shoes, and trying to say that 5 times fast. So, but go check that out. Get your merchandise. Yes, a portion of that does come to us, not a ton, but we do get a little bit of a kickback. If you use the discount code Sandhills, excuse me, you'll get 10% off. Okay, so with my voice about to go, we're just going to go ahead and end this. On behalf of Defense Dad and Pat, on behalf of Sandhills Sweetheart and myself, thank you very much for joining us. We love you. We appreciate you. Again, it's just an echo chamber. Just 5 of us hanging out, talking to ourselves if you're not here with us. So we appreciate it. Share this. Like it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever we go live. You can even hit that. There's a button on Facebook, so it tells you when we go live too every time. That's on there too. Like the Facebook page if you haven't, if you're on Facebook. So please do all that. Please tell your friends about us, and please do your part. Don't just think that it's somebody else's job to secure your rights. You are the gun lobby. We are the gun lobby. We are the 2A. So government of the people, by the people, and for the people means we're the government, and the people we elect to represent us work for us. So make them do their job. All right. We love you. God bless you. Get off my lawn.